What up, Soul Fam? Oh shit, back in the crib? What? Who knows? Thy will be done. You know, I don't think I want to make a video right here, right now, kind of sharing with you, where I left off on that journey. But if you guys are really wanting that, just leave a comment. And, if I see a few comments saying, yes, do that, I will do that. But I wanted to actually do something that will serve you in this present moment, It's Father's Day. There's a lot of fatherless children out there. And we hold on to that. We really do. But sometimes things happen for a reason. And it's important to know that we're not doing anything. Everything is happening through us. And we are the awareness of those experiences. We are the witness. So I encourage everybody to try to step into that witness role instead of thinking that they're doing everything. And then when they don't do something right, they hold on to this guilt and this shame and this regret. Because that will just carry along with you. And it blocks out the guidance that Spirit is trying to send you to get you where you want to go, right? Because when we have a fearful heart, that is a complete block. It's a lock on our heart that prevents any fucking intuitive guidance to come through that will serve us in this moment. So I wanted to actually talk about emotions, because emotions are powerful, and a lot of people don't know how to use them as their compass in life. They actually do the complete opposite of what they are here for. And the moment that you realize how you could navigate with your emotions, the better off you are. So a lot of times we have experiences in our lives, right? And we feel like we are the captain of those experiences, meaning we are the ones navigating through, making the actions, using our free will to make these decisions. But that's not truth. Life is like a simulation. A lot of people don't like hearing that because that makes them feel powerless. Their ego wants to take responsibility for everything that they're creating. But they're not creating anything. They're just the witness to that creation, right? Because we are all fragments of God experiencing His creation through our lens and perception. And our emotions are there to navigate us through this witnessing. And a lot of times we have a negative emotion and it makes us feel like shit, obviously. And we think, oh, this thought must be true because it makes me feel like shit. But it's the complete opposite of that. When you have a thought saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be able to do this, this is going to be way too difficult for, my capacity. And then you have this negative emotion to go along with them thoughts. That's pretty much your Father, God, Source, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, however you refer, unconfirming that thought, meaning your thought is out of alignment with the way I see you, and you need to readjust the way you see things. You need to start seeing it through the perspective that I see you. Already whole, already complete, an expression of love. And if you could just apply that to your life and accept it as truth, your life will change dramatically. Because now you won't hold on to the guilt or the shame from these decisions that you allegedly or supposedly made yourself. And that transformed my life tremendously. Now it's not, not take a responsibility for the things you do. If you wake up and punch someone in the face, because of your anger, yeah, that was supposed to happen. But if you just hold on to that and you feel like shit about it and don't take the wisdom that was applied, like, wow, I could have handled that better. I could have used my words instead of my fists. That's when you take back your true power, because free will isn't the decisions that you make. Free will is how you respond. You have a free will to respond of what you're witnessing. And you have free will on the thoughts that you believe. But a lot of the times, it's just a conditioned mind. And we're so trapped in that conditioned mind thinking it's us, that it really ain't. A lot of us forgot actually who we were as children because some of the traumatic things that we experienced. And that's what this healing journey is about, is actually, surfacing that inner child, healing them, and actually being that parent. Being that parent for that child, right? Think of your thoughts like this. Think of your thoughts, let's just say you struggle with smoking cigarettes or overeating or something, right? And you keep on having this nagging thought in your mind oh, do this. Come on, have a cigarette. Have a cigarette. Come on, you know you want another helping of that fucking delicious food you just ate. And like, you know the decision that supports your highest good and you know what's not. And that fucking thought, consider it as a nagging kid in your mind. This is your inner child in your mind that you haven't healed yet, that keeps on nagging for this substance, that keeps on nagging you to make these fucking decisions that you necessarily don't want to make because it feels like it's going to take you backwards, right? And if you had a child, right? Let's just say you were a parent and you had a kid, and this kid just fucking whined and moaned and complained every time until it got what it wanted, and you gave into it every time. What is that child going to grow up to be? Everybody knows the freaking, the label of, the only child syndrome, or, the ones that always get what they want, or ungrateful and just want, and this, and just nag. That's pretty much what your thoughts are. Your thoughts are these fucking unhealed aspects of your child reaching out for something that it believes it's going to comfort it, and then take it out of its misery, out of its suffering. But the more that we give into that, the more we pretty much confirm that, what we don't want. So start looking at your thoughts, or a majority of your thoughts, as your inner child crying out for help, and then just nurture it. Nurture it and say, you don't need that right now. I gave you everything that you needed. Now you're just being ungrateful and needy. So that's how I've been looking at my thoughts, is an unruly ass kid that is never satisfied and always wants more and more and more. And I'm the parent. I'm the awareness. I'm the one that is aware of this nagging ass child. And I know if I keep on giving into that, it's only going to fucking keep on strengthening that ungrateful, whiny ass, needy ass kid. So that's my level of thinking on the situation. Now, back on emotions, start being mindful of the emotions that come up, because sometimes they come up so quick and they leave so fast that we don't even get a chance to really, inspect why that emotion came up. We don't know. And we just let it go until it comes up again, and the same thing happens. But when you get one of those, say you go into an environment and, someone says something and it triggers you, and you have this emotion, but it suddenly leaves, pull that fucker back and be like, well, why did that make me feel like that? What do I believe in order for me to have this emotion, Because when we align thought, emotion, and feeling as one, that's when it starts showing up in our lives. That's the true power of the law of attraction. It's not, I'm going to keep on thinking this thought, without any emotion, without any feeling or any embodiment, and it's going to show up. No, you have to feel that shit. You have to think it, and then you're going to get this emotion, and it's going to bring that feeling. And if it feels good, it's going to bring it in. If it feels like shit, it'll still bring it in. And depending on how strong that emotion is the magnetic power that it holds. So, a little more wisdom with the law of attraction. You don't attract that which you think about, but you attract that which you are, what you embody. So if you sit there and say, I'm a millionaire, if you don't feel like a millionaire, and you're not living that life within your mind's eye, it's never going to show up. It's never going to show up. So, let that be a lesson learned. Another thing that eased my mind that I currently, that found me was, and it refers to ancient Taoism, Eastern philosophy, and that is doing everything without doing nothing. And a lot of people say, well, how the fuck do I do something without doing it? And that is just you only doing what feels right to you in that moment. And when you do something that you love doing, it almost feels like you're doing nothing, like it's just happening through you. And believe it or not, that's how life is happening for you. We like to think that we're making these conscious decisions and we're exercising our free will, and it's like, do I want a glass of tea or a glass of coffee? And I want the coffee. And you made that decision. But that decision was already pre-made, and you are already going to make that decision. And depending on how you responded to it is your fucking free will and your power, And it goes the same thing. I could use, you know, you get in an argument and, you know, you start expressing your words while you're angry and you say things that you don't necessarily mean. Now, that doesn't mean that you weren't meant to say those things. But what it does mean is that you were supposed to be aware of those things that you said and correcting it by not doing it again and saying, how could I handle this better? Because that's where our free will is at. So that takes a lot of the guilt out of some of the things we experience in life that we think we're responsible for. But, you know, we live in a fucking infinite universe. We're all connected to this web of life, and it's this web of life. Think of it as like, you know those bumper cars that had the pole hooked to the ceiling, and it drives it around and whoop 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 whoop. That's pretty much kind of like the web of life. You know, you're connected to this beam of energy, and life is just happening, and your consciousness, your conscious awareness is surrounded by that, and you're the awareness of this all going on. 11:11. And as long as you are mindful and you take the wisdom from that experience and apply it to your life, that's when things start happening for you. And you could actually just remove all the guilt and the shame that you've experienced because you didn't do anything. You could not do that. And I shared that in the last video, in another video where, you know, when I made some of the decisions as a youngster that, you know, ended up getting me incarcerated and whatnot. You know, I could not, it felt like I could not make these decisions. Like they just ate at me and prodded at me until I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. And then I'd go do it. And sure enough, there was some fucking lessons involved in that. And sometimes some difficult lessons. But now that I know that I wasn't in control of that and I was just the awareness, and it was up to me to just take the lessons involved and apply them to my life. So I just wanted to share something. I don't know if it serves you. If it does, cool. Leave a comment, subscribe, share, do what you do. I don't know where this channel's going. I'm honestly considering, I don't know what I'm considering. I just go with the flow because I'm not doing anything, right? And when it comes time, that will be done. Either way, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day, loving themselves, and just focusing on what they could do to be a better person. And that starts with loving yourself. Love yourself.